Today I'm going to show you how to do one of my favorite stitches, which is the wrapped chain stitch. This is great. It's very similar to a wrapped back stitch, but it's when you want something a little bit more voluminous or a little bit more pronounced, or kind of more 3D effect off the canvas. And you can do a wrap chain stitch with any fiber, but my favorite tip is to do the chain stitch part with velvet. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. I will usually then wrap the chain stitch with either sparkle or a flat ribbon fiber like straw silk or fireworks, something like that. But basically, when you do the chain stitch with velvet, it makes it really smooth, but also very thick. And so it really gives you that like kind of 3D effect off the canvas. So the first part of this is you just do a chain stitch here. I do have a separate video if you're just looking on how to do a chain stitch. That you can like and subscribe and see my other videos on that. But this is how to do a wrap chain stitch. So I learned this trick about using the velvet from my friend Meredith Henry, who's the owner of Flying Needles. And she gave me the tip to use velvet for the chain stitch part. So that is what I'm showing you here today because it looks really, really great. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a line here. Why this is great too is because you can really turn it and curve it like you would with a wrapped back stitch. So it's great for things like tires or cursive letters or tree branches or anything that's got a curve, or not necessarily just a straight line, but I'm going to show you here on a straight line just to kind of see what we're talking about here. So once you get done with your chain stitch, you're going to go ahead and lock that in. Then you're going to come back up with whatever fiber you're going to wrap it in. You want your fiber, if you are using a different color thread, to be, a close match if you can get it. In this case, I'm using orange, but I have even done it with an opposite color thread. And as long as you're fully wrapping it, it doesn't really matter because, again, it's going to be totally covered, but you're going to get that nice smooth volume. So now we're going to wrap our chain stitch. So I brought my silk lame braid up at the end of that chain stitch, and you're going to wrap these chain links. And it doesn't really matter if you wrap from right to left or left to right, but you want to keep it the same the entire way that you're wrapping. So I am right-handed, so I usually wrap right to left. So I'm just going to start here and wrap each one of these chain links once from the right hand side to the left hand side. And kind of, if this was, like I said, this is silk lame braid, but if it was like a flatter ribbon fire like Neon Race Plus or Fireworks, you do kind of want to lay it, even if it's just your finger, and make sure it's laying kind of flat. And what I do here is I wrap each link once, and then we'll go back through and do another pass. I find that if you wrap each link until it's fully covered, it tends to look a little bit chunky and not so smooth. So that was each chain link once, and I'm going to go back down on the end of that chain stitch. So as you can see, this is not fully covered. So instead of going back down the other way, I'm going to come back up and do the wraps the same direction every time. That again will have it lay a little bit nicer and a little bit smoother. So I'm going to go back through again. And again, since this isn't a flat ribbon fiber, it might take 2 or 3 times to get it fully covered. That's why those flat ribbon fibers are nice, because you usually have to go over it once, maybe twice, as opposed to something that's not flat. You might have to go over it a few more times, but either way, it ends up looking great. If you follow along with my stitching, I stitched my son Jake's handwriting like this. I used a red velvet and a red sparkle to go over his name and how he writes it, and it turned out really, really great. And I get asked what that is more often than anything, so I thought I'd make you a little video and show you exactly what I did here. So I'm like kind of done here with my second pass. I think I'm going to go back through one more time. And I've zoomed in on the camera pretty close here because, again, I want you to see exactly what I'm doing. But sometimes, that might be good enough. But in this case, I'm going to totally cover it. So I'm going to go back through one last time, hopefully. Make sure that this is really nice and covered. And again, I could have done this all with the silk lame braid and it would be just fine. Obviously, that one covers a little bit nicer because you're not covering something that's different. But this is nice because it just gives it a little bit more volume, like I said, when you use the velvet for the chain, than if you use whatever fiber that you're wrapping it with. So I'm going to cover this up one more time. Again, you see I'm always going from right to left through the chain link, so it lays nice and smooth and it looks really cohesive. Kind of help those wraps cover up. and then just go down and tie off. And that is the wrap chain stitch, which is one of my favorites. And again, my secret hidden trick is to use velvet for the chain part, and then any fiber you want to wrap it.